Good Saturday morning, Looney Tunes fans. It is I, Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic. It is Saturday morning. We're doing what God intended for man to do of a Saturday morning. Sit and watch cartoons with your friends. And the best of friends, or at least the best of my friends, is here with us once again. Known video wrangler, the Table Reads podcast, the Stargirl after show, and all-around great guy and Looney Tunes aficionado, Sean McBee.
It's a me.
And this is a great cartoon. And again, as many of my guests often do, Sean, you picked this one.
Yeah. One thing I want to say about this cartoon right off the bat is that there were jokes that I super did not get because I didn't understand what rationing was like in the
Wartime.
1940s.
Yeah.
During wartime. So, like, no more Meatless Tuesdays, all that stuff is, in case anyone doesn't know, a reference to the rationing procedures during World War II.
Yeah.
You wouldn't eat meat on Tuesdays because there just wasn't that much meat. So everyone went without on Tuesdays to preserve.
I mean, I think that's something that's to the credit of these cartoons, is because they're obviously still have great appeal to this day, but it's not held back by the references and the, there is a real timelessness to these cartoons despite the time they were from and made in.
Right. I was easily in my 20s before I knew that extra context, but it didn't affect my viewing at all. I always loved this cartoon.
Yeah. And growing up, because we're in our 40s now, and so when we were
early 40s. Say early.
Oh, early 40s, yes. And we, Clampett's cartoons and the early pre-48 cartoons were not readily available to everybody. So I think a lot of us were, we got to see more Clampett once the DVDs came out and stuff like this. And but do you remember seeing this on TV anywhere when you were a kid?
Oh, I don't know. I very rarely recall where I saw a cartoon.
I do. You know what I do? I'll tell you what I do recall. Speaking of our childhood and these cartoons, we got very adept, and it was at one point to a select few somewhat of a party favor, wherein we would boast that if you just put a cartoon on, like that was on TV, like you flip to the channel, whatever channel, and you found a cartoon,
we could identify title, year, and director.
Yes, and we would, just based on looking at it. Looking at it, you could tell who was directing, roughly what year, and from memory what the cartoon, and also if it won an Oscar.
Yeah. Man, I've jettisoned a lot of useless information from my head to make room for different useless information.
Yes. Well, you got to prioritize.
Of course.
Now, there's a gag in this cartoon that, speaking of stuff, for adults, there's a joke in this cartoon that was supposed to be taken out that wasn't. And the reason, and the proof of it, if you don't choose to believe, is that if you edit it out on the frame, you can tell that it was meant to be taken out because it plays just fine without it. And it's the joke where he's, dragging ass all across the carpet, and he says, "Hey, I better cut this out. I may get to like it." That thing. If you actually edit it out on the frame, he just keeps going, no, and the animation cycle is like I say, exact.
Now, does this have this exact copy? Does it have the gag at the end that was cut out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yep.
Good.
Yeah, we make sure about those kind of things. Yeah, this is as it was in the DVD, and we are at present, at the time of this recording, still in a time where they when they put the cartoons out on DVD, they don't censor them. I can't speak for the future, but something tells me. Yeah, and that was weird too because the background didn't change, if you noticed, when it went into the close-up.
Yeah.
Oh, As a
Let's just assume that it's some sort of Hitchcockian lens trick.
Yeah, it was done on purpose. So there's no way it was a mistake.
I love that Elmer is reading a book about characters he interacts with.
Yeah. Yeah. Very meta. People think they didn't do meta jokes back in the 40s, but they did. I love all this. This is Scribner. And it's just
he's bursting out into sweat droplets because he's afraid of a bath.
Yep.
Like, dude, just get a bath.
Yeah, how could a bath be worse than what he's enduring? Because it's going to even get worse. Oh, I love it. He was gone for a frame. I don't know if you noticed that. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you didn't notice that because you're watching the lagged version of this.
Right.
These drawings are so funny.
I love those shoulders up above the head like that.
Yep.
Giant jacket. What's he trying to accomplish?
Now imagine
With a
how
jackhammer.
hard. Imagine
you
how
don't
hard.
Jackhammer your food.
Imagine how hard this is to actually draw, especially when it goes plaid. They had to actually draw it by hand. Look at that. How do you do that? Oh,
Carefully.
very carefully.
You know, nowadays they just overlay a plaid pattern that wouldn't move.
Nope. Wouldn't be as funny. Here it comes.
I don't know. Sometimes I like that look where like the character's moving, but the plaid is clearly like just a layer that's staying still.
Yeah, they've done that. They've done that in some of these cartoons too. Now, here's just for the record. Here's the gag.
Hey, I better cut this out. I may get to like it.
So yeah, if you cut that out, it just flows. But the reason it stayed in is because Clampett did this thing where if he wanted to, and it's done regularly now in TV a lot, but if he wanted a joke that he was worried about to stay in, and he was worried about it getting cut, he would put in a way worse joke to distract the censors. And that was the joke that was supposed to be a distraction. And for whatever reason, the Hayes office didn't realize it as a masturbation joke. So
now, it seems expensive to do that just for a gag that you expect to be gone.
yeah, they had a lot more money when Leon was there because they reanimated gags all the time when Leon was there. It wasn't until Eddie Seltzer showed up that it was like, no, you get it right the first time, and there's a little bit more of an iron fist with content. And Clampett, to his credit, even he had never left, I'm sure would have figured out ways to sneak stuff in.
See, there's another one. No points, because there was a
the blue plate
point system to your rationing. You could only spend so many points on food per week or something.
There's your suicide joke, Sean. All right,
There's nothing I love more than a good suicidal cat joke.